Hello YouTube, so it's me again. So by popular request I've decided to do the next segment in my DVD collection series, and this is the pride and joy of my DVD collection, or rather sort of my favorites of the various collections. And at some point, and there's Lexi, she's probably going to appear in every video because she tends to be my shadow. At some point I will do everything that's on this wall, and these are just the TV set releases. Regular movies and Blu-rays are in the living room. But anyways, so this is everything that has been released in Region 1 so far to this date. Started collecting these actually the day they came out, which was actually, sadly, September 11th, 2001. The first DVD I bought was standard Tom Baker one, which was probably one of his more popular stories and believed to be a good way to start off the series. Robots of Death. This was before they really got into decent special features. One thing that you'll notice about the DVDs now is you'll find more special features on the Doctor Who DVDs than pretty much any other series on television. That, well, at least that has been put out on DVD, or anything that I have bought, and that has been, and I've bought quite a few. So I have these organized chronologically. Original series, all four new series, series 1, 2, 3, and 4. Torchwood, I actually also have season 2 of, or series 2 of Torchwood, I just don't have it on the shelf. Sarah Jane Adventures, which is a children's show, although for completion I bought it, and it was a good way to kill a Sunday afternoon. And Doctor Who The Infinite Quest, which is an amalgamation of various animations they had that ran throughout the course of series, I think it was series 3 if I remember correctly. But anyway, so we'll start here at the beginning. Chronologically, the first that I have here is Doctor Who Lost in Time. So sadly, say close to, actually slightly over 50% of individual episodes from the first two Doctors, William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton, were lost. Essentially the BBC nuked them or lost them because there was no value placed on them. They'd play them once, then they'd rerun them, and then essentially they're worthless after that, so no one thought that they were worth keeping. So this is what's left of incomplete serials. Well, call them story serials, whatever you want to refer to them as. Essentially, if anyone doesn't know, the way the original Doctor Who worked was it would be a series of episodes. Anywhere from, well, there was the occasional standalone, but that was fairly rare. Minimum of 2. Usually it was about 4 by the end of the series. The average was 3. 6. There were a number of 6-parters between John Pertwee, the third Doctor, and Tom Baker, the fourth. But this is a collection of what's left from the first two Doctors. You probably have to be a fan to get into this. It's actually probably my singular favorite of the collection because it's given me a chance to see episodes that I'd never seen before, an idea as to what some stories were like. Then it's followed with this. Doctor Who The Beginnings, released early 2006 in Region 2. These are the first 3 stories, beginning with An Unearthly Child, which is actually weird. The first part of An Unearthly Child is an amazing serial, but then it kind of falls apart after there. The Daleks, which is what introduced them, and sort of what made the show successful, and The Edge of Destruction, a brief 2-parter that was thrown in at the end. Worthwhile set. I believe this has actually gone down in price too. The way I get these is I pre-order them on Amazon as soon as they're up, and generally the first week or so that they're up, you can get them at a sizable discount compared to the regular selling price. So I started doing that in early 2005, and I've bought every release that way. The early releases, before I was using Amazon, I try and track them down in the stores, which was a pain, and some of them were never available in the stores. So then we go into individual releases from the first Doctor. Now, so far there are 5, and this video is probably going to be multiple parts. Figure for anyone who's interested, I'll go through these piece by piece. Doctor Who, The Aztecs. I believe this is the earliest surviving historical. The first historical was Marco Polo, which all parts have been lost. Big tragedy, as I said earlier, you know, missing stories. Fairly decent, although probably not a good introduction to the series. I would recommend checking out later episodes. Dalek Invasion of Earth. Probably one of William Hartnell's best stories. Generally, it was the follow-up to the original Daleks, and vastly superior in pretty much every way possible. Web Planet, notoriously believed to be one of the worst serials. I don't know. I've always found it to be so bad it's funny, so I enjoy watching it. Kind of like Doctor Who's Plan 9 from Outer Space. Well, there's debate as to which one is worse. There are stories that everyone hates: Underworld under Tom Baker, The Twin Dilemma, Six Doctors for a story, Time and the Ronnie, Seventh Doctor's for a story. Essentially, the introductory stories went to hell near the end of the series, and Time Lash, which is universally hated, although I actually personally like that one. So then the other two, Time Meddler. Now, this one, quality-wise, is one of the weaker stories, although the Doctor Who restoration team, which actually restores all these DVDs, has mentioned that the existing materials were, quote, fairly ropey for this one, so essentially we're lucky we have it at all, and with what they had to work with, I think they did a fairly reasonable job on this one. This came out first week of January this year. The War Machines actually had been one of the few ones that I had not seen when I originally watched these off air, but I was actually quite impressed with this, and actually the restoration job on this one is outstanding. Probably one of the better ones the restoration team has done. For this part, I'll briefly cover Patrick Troughton. Now, unfortunately, out of all his stories, only 6 remain in their entirety. 4 have been released, 3 are complete, 1 has 2 animated parts. Although there are partially completed stories, which eventually with animations might get their own release, and none of them were included in Lost in Time, which leads me to believe that they'll be coming out. So this is the first one to come out. This is one of my all-time favorites. Tomb of the Cybermen. Actually, this was one of the stories that was completely lost. It was discovered in Hong Kong in 1992, and this is the last complete story that was recovered, although some people said they were disappointed when they saw us because it had been hyped up so much, although I did not know about it before I first saw it on PBS shortly after it was recovered, so I've always enjoyed this one. Mind Robber, another personal favorite. And my dog is going nuts, so I'm going to cut this off, but I will be back and continue this in part 2. Okay, goodbye.